Cassie Ventura, Eva, broke down on the witness stand as she described how her abusive, nearly 11-year relationship with Sean Combs left her drug-addicted and psychologically damaged. But the jury's most vivid reaction, Eva, came when they were shown explicit images from some of the videos that Cassie said she was made to record of the freak-offs. There were 7 images. One juror appeared to move his neck as if taken aback. Another juror raised an eyebrow. Another appeared to shake a head.
In another, she writes, the freak-offs felt right.
Bringing out those different text messages where she was saying that, she was asking and saying that she liked these freak-offs.
Is Diddy's defense getting to Cassie? How's her demeanor in court today?
To watch someone who is visibly pregnant sort of take deep breaths at times. She's keeping her cool.
That she tried to avoid kissing the escorts during the so-called freak-offs because it felt too intimate and made me squeamish. That's what she said. And explain to our viewers in terms.
Cassie says she was forced into 96-hour freak-offs. And what she revealed in court left the room silent. From emotional collapse to blackmail, her testimony against Sean Diddy Combs could change everything. This is the breakdown of one of the most disturbing celebrity cases of our time. Like and subscribe for full coverage. Let's get into it. Cassie just got on the stand and told the court what really went down behind the scenes with Diddy, and it's worse than anyone imagined. She says their relationship wasn't love, it was control. Control over her body, her choices, and her freedom. In front of the jury, Cassie testified that Diddy isolated her, tracked her movements, and demanded loyalty through fear. The lavish trips, the red carpet photos. She says those were distractions, while the real story was happening in private. Now, with prosecutors watching and the world listening, Cassie isn't holding back. And this is only the beginning. Cassie testified that early in the relationship, Diddy began inviting her to what he called freak-offs. According to her, these were extended private gatherings that lasted for days, sometimes up to 96 hours. She described them as being fueled by drugs, emotional pressure, and power dynamics she couldn't escape. Over time, she wasn't just attending, she was expected to organize them, booking escorts, arranging hotel rooms, keeping it all under wraps. She told the court she was often sick, emotionally unwell, and afraid, but felt she couldn't say no. Saying no, she said, could trigger anger, threats, or emotional punishment.
Check this out. An attendee of one of Diddy's infamous freak-offs claims there were children dressed as Juku dolls.
Cassie revealed that these events led to serious physical consequences. She experienced repeated infections, including urinary tract infections and painful sores. She even said she built a tolerance to antibiotics because the infections were so frequent. But the most disturbing moments came when she described the deeply degrading acts she was subjected to. Cassie testified that during some of these encounters, she was urinated on by Diddy and male escorts on her body and in her mouth so much that she started choking. Something she said happened more than once.
Who asked Cassie, did you ever consent to this? Cassie said no. There was no conversation. It was a turn on for him, so it happened. There is not a whole lot of control you have with 2 men standing over you peeing.
Sometimes through Craigslist, the lighting in the room, to her nails having to be painted white, and what she wore, everything, according to Ventura, had to go through Combs. Combs or male escorts would urinate on her. The prosecutor said, did you want Sean or an escort to urinate on you? Ventura responded,
she said it wasn't just physical discomfort. It was emotional devastation. It was too much. It was overwhelming, she told the jury.
Producer you was talking about, and I came here specifically with the Prince to rub elbows with people. First, I'm getting lied to about how long I'm supposed to stay there. Then you keep talking about I'm supposed to meet this producer, but we're not talking about nothing with music that you see on the movies. This corner, this got going on. This corner, they over here doing this. This corner, they over there having sex. This corner.
She explained that she began using substances, primarily opiates, to feel numb, to not be there mentally while these events were happening.
Combs involved her in freak-offs weekly for a period of years until about 2017 or 2018.
She described feeling like a performer, saying, "Afterward, I felt empty, gross, like I just did a job I didn't apply for."
4 days. That's how long the longest freak off that.
She would then retreat to massages, hydration treatments, and pills to try and recover. But emotionally, she said she was falling apart. The freak-offs were only part of a much larger pattern. Cassie testified that Diddy used emotional control to isolate her. He allegedly kept videos of their encounters without her consent. And when she defied him, he used them as threats.
At his request, that she couldn't do any music. And then she also went on to say that if she didn't participate in these freak-offs, that he abused her, or he would do things like punish her by, not letting her sleep at her apartment that he was paying rent for.
On one occasion, during a commercial flight, Cassie said Diddy pulled up explicit clips on his laptop and showed them near other passengers. She was horrified, embarrassed, and scared. She told the court he warned her, "Behave, or I'll make these public." Cassie also testified that Diddy would become physically aggressive. She described a time he assaulted her after an event at Prince's house. Another time, she said he threw luggage at her in a hotel. She shared that after particularly violent episodes, she'd flee to her family in Connecticut, once even showing her mother bruises and injuries. But she still didn't feel like she could tell the full truth. "I didn't want to admit what was really happening," she said, "especially not to my mom." Even when she tried to move on with her life, starting a relationship with Kid Cudi, Cassie said Diddy threatened both of them. One threat included blowing up Cudi's car. Eventually, she stopped fighting back. She described herself as numb, afraid, and resigned. The emotional toll wasn't something Cassie could hide forever. In 2023, she hit a breaking point. In court, Cassie described an afternoon when everything became too much. She told her husband, Alex Fine, "You can do this without me. You don't need me." And she tried to leave their home, planning to walk into traffic. Alex stopped her, and shortly after, Cassie entered trauma therapy. She later decided to write a memoir, not to expose Diddy, she said, but as part of her healing process. Her legal team reached out to Diddy's reps requesting $30 million in compensation. They ultimately settled for $20 million in a civil agreement. But Cassie says the money wasn't closure. It wasn't justice. She took the stand in a federal courtroom under oath to tell her story publicly. And as she closed her second day of testimony, she broke down in tears, telling the jury she no longer wanted to live in silence. "I can't carry this anymore," she said. "People aren't disposable." Sean Diddy Combs now faces 5 criminal charges, including racketeering conspiracy, coercion-related trafficking, and transportation for unlawful purposes. He has denied all allegations through his legal team. They say he's being targeted and framed, and they plan to fight every charge. But the courtroom has seen evidence that paints a grim picture. Text messages, private photos, witness statements, and surveillance video of an alleged assault in a Los Angeles hotel. Cassie is the government's highest profile witness, and her testimony may set the tone for the entire case. With Cassie's direct testimony complete, Diddy's defense team is preparing for a long strategic cross-examination. They're expected to challenge her timeline, her motivations, and the settlement. But legal analysts say her consistent, calm delivery may be hard to shake. Public opinion is already shifting. Industry insiders are distancing themselves. Fans are reevaluating what they thought they knew. And for Cassie, it seems this moment, painful as it is, represents the end of silence. Cassie's story isn't just about one relationship. It's about power, control, and the silence that protects people in high places. She told the court she was ashamed, convinced no one would believe her, that people would call her a liar, or worse, blame her for what happened. But by speaking up, she's shifted the narrative. She's not just Diddy's ex, she's a voice for those who are afraid to speak. And now, with the world watching, Her story is a reminder that no amount of fame or fortune should make someone untouchable. What are your thoughts on Cassie's testimony? Do you think more people will come forward? Let us know in the comments, and please be respectful. These are real lives, real pain, and real consequences. Subscribe for more in-depth coverage as this case continues to unfold. Thanks for watching.